More Democrats are supporting impeachment.
What is your reaction to that?
Are you concerned?
Once again, storm clouds are gathering over the Trump presidency, this time with a whole new intensity.
I'm announcing the House of Representatives moving forward with an official impeachment inquiry.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi had in the past expressed her reluctance to pursue an impeachment inquiry. Not anymore.
The actions of the Trump presidency revealed the dishonorable fact of the president's betrayal of his oath of office, betrayal of our national security, and betrayal of the integrity of our elections.
Tonight, the president insists he has nothing to fear.
They all say that's a positive for me from the election. You could also say, who needs it? It's bad for the country.
The Trump campaign says this will only embolden and energize President Trump's supporters. And the White House accuses the Democrats of trying to weaponize politics when they should be working for their constituents.
Everybody knows it. It's just a Democrat witch hunt. Here we go again.
The issue, not Russia this time, but Ukraine, and whether Trump sought to enlist a foreign government's help to dig up dirt on a political rival, former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter.
The allegation here is very serious indeed, that he was using the powers of the presidency to pressure a foreign government to essentially do harm to his political rival, Joe Biden.
The crucial moment, a phone call with this man, Volodymyr Zelensky, the newly elected president of Ukraine. Zelensky's only political experience was that he had played a president on a sitcom.
Hello, I'm glad to see you. Nice to meet you.
But he swept into power this summer on a promise to fight corruption. And President Trump had an idea just where to start.
Conversation I had was largely congratulatory, was largely corruption, all of the corruption taking place, was largely the fact that we don't want our people, like Vice President Biden and his son, creating to the corruption already in the Ukraine.
President Trump admits he brought Biden up during the call, but insists he didn't pressure anybody.
There was no pressure. That was not pressure. I know when I give pressure.
But a whistleblower from the intelligence community says otherwise. According to the Wall Street Journal, Trump brought up Biden 8 times during the call, a detail the president disputes. And ABC News has learned that days before the call, the U.S. abruptly cut off $400 million in military aid to Ukraine on orders from the president.
There was never any quid pro quo.
President Trump has offered various reasons for withholding that money.
Mr. President.
24 hours ago, he said it was because he wanted Ukraine to deal with corruption.
Why would you give money to a country that you think is corrupt?
Today, Trump suggested he was trying to save the U.S. taxpayers some money.
I want other countries to put up money. I think it's unfair that we put up the money.
It's unlikely that it's going to be absolutely black and white. Here, you can't get this $400 million unless you go after Joe Biden and show me everything you get. And so it'll be interpretation of whatever evidence they find.
But the Justice Department and the Director of National Intelligence have so far refused to hand over the whistleblower's report.
The Intelligence Community Inspector General, who was appointed by President Trump, determined that the complaint is both of urgent concern and credible.
The tug of war over the whistleblower's report is what pushed reluctant Democrats over the top.
There are now at least 181 members. That's more than 2/3 of all House Democrats who say now is the time to impeach.
The thinking with so many of these members is if this president is allowed to negotiate with foreign leaders to investigate political opponents, there will be nothing that tethers him to the norms of civil society.
The attitude behind the Democratic caucus at this point has been that the president has been lawless, and he's been lawless for 2 years now.
So, where does former Vice President Biden fit into all this?
Vice President Joe Biden was tasked with helping Ukraine after the revolution on behalf of the Obama administration. At the same time, just months after Biden delivers a very robust speech about fighting corruption, his son Hunter Biden takes a position on a board of Burisma. That's an oil and natural gas company in Ukraine under investigation.
ABC's Tom Yamas recently traveled to Ukraine to investigate the Biden story.
What we found were actually 2 stories. Joe Biden supporters in Ukraine say what Hunter Biden did was wrong. But what we also found out was that Rudy Giuliani was actively talking to former Ukrainian officials, including a prosecutor, at the center of all this.
Giuliani admitted as much in an appearance on CNN Thursday night.
So you did ask Ukraine to look into Joe Biden?
Of course I did.
You just said you didn't.
So really we have two alleged wrongs here. One is the idea of cashing in on the presidency, and the other is the question of enlisting a foreign government to dig up dirt on your rival.
For the president, what he's doing, he's trying to draw all the attention he can back to Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. The problem for Democrats is there is smoke there.
Today, Biden pushed back.
I knew when I decided to run, this president would attack me and anyone else who he thought would be a threat to his winning again. And know that even though every reputable publication has looked at the charge that has been made against me, I found them baseless and untrue and without merit, that's not about to stop him.
What's next? Well, President Trump now says tomorrow the White House will release the complete, unredacted transcript of that July phone call with Ukrainian President Zelensky. He's also scheduled to meet Zelensky face-to-face at the UN. On Thursday, the Director of National Intelligence is due to appear in an open hearing on Capitol Hill. And Democrat Adam Schiff tweeted today that the whistleblower wants to testify as well. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell slammed Pelosi's decision, saying in a statement it simply confirms that House Democrats' priority is not making life better for the American people, but their nearly 3-year-old fixation on impeachment. Meanwhile, both sides are looking down the road to next year's presidential election.
Whatever the best laid plans of candidates and campaigns, all of that is going to fade in the midst of an all-encompassing Washington story.
Even if the Democrats in Congress gather enough votes to impeach President Trump, it's unlikely they'd have the votes in the Senate to remove him from office.
We have never impeached and removed a president from office. And so for the Speaker of the House, who had resisted calls for impeachment, to begin to go forward like this is a historic day.
Meanwhile, what was already set to be a bitter election battle now has a tricky new front. I'm David Wright for Nightline in New York.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.